The idea that we need to protect this planet itself is a convoluted idea because it is not because of us that the planet is there, it is because of the planet we are there. Even to think me and the planet is a completely wrong notion because what you call as myself, the physical presence of who you are, is just an outcrop of this planet. Whatever you experience as a part of yourself, with that nobody has to tell you, please take care of this. Anyway, you will take care of it. The planet is for all of us and we cannot exist here by ourselves. Our existence here is not because of our economic activity. Right now we are made to believe it is because of the percentages of growth that's happening in this country you will live well. No, we will live well here if everything is green, beautiful, water is flowing, air is pure, we will live well here. This idea has to go into every human being's mind, into every citizen's mind, into every child's mind. You must always be conscious of the life other than human life. Most people are not even conscious of the human beings, so I'm reminding you, you must be conscious of everything that is alive. A tree, a plant, a blade of grass, a grasshopper hopping, you must be alive to everything. Constantly the air around us is entering us and coming out of us, and this is the basis of our life. What you exhale, the trees are inhaling. What the trees exhale, you are inhaling. There's a constant transaction going on. If we stop this process of breath for 1 minute, we understand that without transacting with the air around us, we cannot live for a moment. Similarly, on the level of water and on the level of earth, this transaction is going on. So how we keep the atmospheres around us, the water bodies around us, will determine the nature and the quality of our life.
So whenever a child enters people's lives, they always think it's time to teach. No, when a child enters your life, it's time to learn. Because between you and your child, who is more joyful? Child. So who should be a consultant for life? Definitely he's better qualified than you, isn't he? You have to teach him a few survival skills that he will learn anyway. You can also guide him a little bit. But when it comes to life, he's able to make any simple situation a joyful situation. So definitely he must be the consultant for life, isn't it? It doesn't matter how glum you are, if you have a child in your house, unknowingly you will laugh, unknowingly you will play, unknowingly you will dance, unknowingly you will crawl under the sofa. These are not things you have done for a long time. So, the most important thing is don't infect a child with what you call as adulthood. This is not adulthood, okay? This is just suicide in installments. With anything, he can make a situation wonderful for himself. It doesn't matter what. You give him a piece of wood, with that he makes his life for the whole afternoon, isn't it? You have to learn to live like him. And see, when you were growing up, whatever problems when you had, did you go to your parents or to your friends? Whom did you share it with? Friends. Why is it that parents who have been with the children right from day one can't be good friends? You just have to get off your pedestal. That's the most important thing. And be a friend. If he has anything, you should be the first person that they share with, isn't it? Yes? That's a very important safety net for the child. It doesn't matter what their problem is. If you leave that level of openness and friendship with them, if they come to you first, there's every possibility that they won't get lost in something, especially in a society like this, where the moment the child steps out, you don't know what influences are going to catch him up. The most important thing is this, the parents should get off that pedestal and start treating them as equals, and this has to happen right from childhood, you know, that he never sees you as somebody who's pushing him around or bossing around or all the time advising him about something, that you are very much a friend, he can talk to you and you talk to him as an equal. If this is maintained right from the beginning, when he is developing and when there are possibilities of he's taking wrong steps and things like that, you will be the first person he comes to. That is something we have to build, isn't it?
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. So I'm saying that the idea of competition is so much ingrained in our minds, not even at the school level, but even at the postgraduate level or any aspect of our lives, that it creates a lot of unnecessary stress. So what can be really done about this?
Competition is a good thing. If you're incompetent and you're in competition, you will feel stressed. So, if you want to be in a competitive situation, the thing is you have to work on your competence. Right now the problem is, you're tweaking your desire, you're not tweaking your competence. This is what has to happen, that we must teach children to tweak their competence, not their desire. We are calling this ambition, we are calling this goal-orientedness. Ambition means what? You tweaked up your desire, you'll suffer invariably. If you tweak up your competence, you will see wherever you go, you're doing better than what people expect you to, so naturally things will go well for you. Competition is not the bad thing, lack of competence is the bad thing. We must understand this. In this country, this is very important because we still think our education is cooked in heaven. Because people tell me temples are crowded just before the examination. Just the wrong place to be. Just the wrong place to be. When your examination is coming, you sitting in the temple is just the wrong place to be. In the vacation, you sat in the temple, great. So instead of competence, we have big desires. If you focus enough on enhancing your competence, you will see there is such joy in breaking limitations every day and becoming something better. You don't care a damn how somebody else is doing. Yes, if every day, if you're breaking limitations… When I was speaking to I think our home school, I was telling them, a class full of children should sound like eggs are hatching. You know, at one time I used to do sericulture, silk farming. And I was amazed. I was so amazed I didn't take them to the market sometimes. Because if you just leave the cocoon long enough, if you don't take it to the market, you should see how it opens up. Like this, it'll be making noise. Slowly they're opening it up. When 1,000,000 of them are trying to open, you go inside this room. This is how a school should sound. That every moment they're breaking their limitations. If you are breaking the limitations of who you are, if your competence, you're working constantly to expand, you don't even have the time to look at somebody, how is he doing? Because this is such a great thing happening within you. So please focus on your competence. Competition, you don't bother. If you're good, you will be on the top, otherwise you'll be somewhere. It's okay.
India is the only place where our gods must dance. If he cannot dance, he cannot be a god. Shiva is Nataraja, he is the king of dancers, and everybody else is a dancer. Why this is because the phenomena of creation. The closest analogy you can give to that is it's like a dance. Today modern physicists are using those words, that things seem to be in a dance. Dance means there seems to be no logical coherence to it, but if you observe it closely enough, there is a very deep system to the whole process.
This dance of creation, which self created itself from the eternal stillness, in trying to represent the exuberance of creation, we call this dimension as Natesha or Nataraja, which is one of the most significant forms of Shiva.
Because creation is a dance, we said the divine is a dancer. So when we say Shiva is Nataraja, we are not talking about an individual dancing. That is why the circle around him. The circle is always the symbol of cosmos, because the most natural form that happens in the existence when anything moves is a circle. Anything that happens by itself is a circle. The planet is a circle, the moon is a circle, the sun is a circle, everything else is a circle because circle is a shape of least resistance. So that is why the circle around Nataraja is symbolizing the cosmos. He is a cosmic dancer, that's how he's always described. You can experience the dance or you can become the dance. You can experience the aesthetic of the dance by simply watching it closely, or you can dance. But you want to understand the dance, there is no such thing. These are only two choices you have. If you experience the beauty of the dance by observation, by looking, we will say you are a seeker. You may be called a scientist, but still you're a seeker, you want to know what it is, so you're paying attention. If you pay attention to it, you become a seeker. If you become the dance, you become the divine, you become a yogi. That's a choice you have.
There is room and scope for improvement. Relentlessly improve. Let's see where it gets you. Everybody is calling somebody enlightened compared to themselves. You may be wonderful, but you are not loyal to your wonderfulness.
I am not pursuing enlightenment with 100% sincerity because at some level, I am not convinced that this is going to happen in this lifetime, given my limitations. How do I overcome this mental setup that I have? Have you seen people coming close to this possibility, and what are my chances?
Don't pursue enlightenment. You cannot pursue enlightenment. How can you pursue something that you do not know? If you pursue something, you will pursue only what you know. What is the point pursuing something that you already know? What is the point in running after something that you already know? So if you have to step into something that you do not know, the only thing is just to keep walking. Keep a steady direction and keep walking. Maybe it's a wrong direction, it doesn't matter. Just keep walking. After all, planet is round. Inevitably, if you keep walking and keep straight walking, not round and round, if you just keep straight walking, you will inevitably get somewhere. Nobody can take it away from you. You know, if you have a dog at home, you would know this. If you just tickle him in the tail, he will go shh, chasing his own tail. Okay, a lot of people are doing that. Their own tail they're chasing. Even enlightenment is their own tail. Nobody told you there is such a thing. But definitely you can see from one person to another person, one person seems to be a little better off simply the way they are, not because of their money, not because of their wealth, not because of their qualifications. Simply the way they sit and stand, somebody seems to be better off than somebody else. Yes or no? So, there is room and scope for improvement. Relentlessly improve. Let's see where it gets you. But if you have fancy ideas of what is enlightenment, then you will chase that silly idea, and that idea is never enlightenment, because it's your idea. You cannot have an idea about something that you have no access to, isn't it? All your ideas concern things that you already know, maybe permutations and combinations of the same damn thing. It's like God. Because you're human, God is a big human being, isn't it?
We are little more liberal, so we made animals, birds, snakes, everything, elephants, cows, everything gods, because we understand, after all, they can have their own gods. But if you're very dogmatic and rigid, you think, no, God is a human being, that too a man, and that too he has blonde hair. That's a very rigid, dogmatic idea. People who lived in other parts of the world never could imagine a blonde-haired God. They just cannot. Can you? I'm sure African gods have crinky hair, Indian gods have jet black hair, something. So, it's our idea. Our ideas, no matter what we do, only comes from what we already know. Cannot be anything else. So do not think up enlightenment. You will just make a fool of yourself going round and round. If you become an absolutely, that means unconditionally wonderful human being, you don't worry whether you're enlightened or not. Other people will, if they want, they will say, oh, he is enlightened compared to me. Everybody is calling somebody enlightened compared to themselves. Look at me how I am, look at him how he is, he must be enlightened. But there is no one benchmark out there, this is enlightenment. Everybody is wonderful when things around them are properly arranged for them, the way they want. The way you want. Huh? When everybody behaves the way you want, you are also wonderful. When people don't behave the way you want, when life doesn't work the way you want, then to be wonderful, it takes something else. So when everything is going dead wrong with your life, with your family, with your profession, with your life, everything around you, if you're still wonderful, for now, let us say you're enlightened. All right? If you must set a benchmark, but something wonderful happened, something so wonderful that nothing could affect that wonderfulness. Other people say it's enlightenment. You never say. I'm pursuing enlightenment means one day you're going to declare yourself, I'm enlightened, then everybody will know you're a nutcase. If others say, oh, he is enlightened, good. You declare, I'm enlightened. This will be a case, isn't it? You may be wonderful, but you are not loyal to your wonderfulness. You are joyful, you are sometimes blissful, you're even loving, but not loyal to these qualities. A beautiful flower throws out fragrance. The flower is very loyal. No matter if you pluck it also, it's still fragrant, if the cow eats it also, it's fragrant, if the bee messes around also, it's fragrant. It never got angry and turned into a skunk ever. But you're not like that, you are wonderful like this. If somebody pokes you, you will become a skunk. You're not loyal to your wonderfulness. This happened. Shankaran Pillai was running a pet shop and there was a nice dog, a golden retriever, a wonderful dog. Somebody came to buy this grown-up dog. They asked, how much? He said, $2,000. I said, what? $2,000 for a dog? Isn't it too much? Shankaran Pillai said, just look at him. Isn't he wonderful? The man looked at it and said, yes, he's a wonderful dog. He paid the money, he was taking, but he asked, is he loyal? Of course he's loyal. I sold him 7 times and he's back in hours. So are you loyal to your wonderfulness? This is all you have to do. Instead of pursuing enlightenment, just do this. Choose any one thing, I will leave it to you. Either joy or blissfulness or love or anger or hatred, you choose whatever you want. Just be loyal to one thing every moment of your life. How's that? You will become enlightened. The problem right now is of loyalty. You keep chasing your own tail. You keep running, of course, but you think you're going somewhere, you're not going anywhere. Especially if you're pursuing enlightenment, you definitely not going anywhere. Just stay loyal to one quality that you choose. I won't even tell you be loving, be joyful, be blissful, no. If you like anger, if you like hatred, if you like jealousy, but every moment you must be like that. That's how. Your job is done. Really, that's all it takes. No matter what is happening, whatever may be happening, you just be loyal to one quality. Nischala tattvam jivan mukti. If you're unwavering, that is all. Right now the problem is it's going all over the place. Every moment your loyalty is changing, isn't it? When you sit here, yes, Sadhguru. Just one damn thing, choose any damn thing. Just be loyal to that one thing every moment of your life. It's a done thing. We are giving out a certain instrument of grace. One thing is it has a unique reverberation, another thing is it'll be consecrated here, so this will be a powerful instrument in your life to be accessible to grace of Adi Yogi, for you to soak in the tears of Shiva, tears of ecstasy.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. This question is from Dhananjay from Delhi. I have been participating in the Mahashivratri festival at the ashram for the last 3 years, but this year I am unable to come because of the pandemic. Can you please guide me on how I can receive the grace of Adi Yogi in 2021 without being in his presence? Is there a tool or sadhana that I can make use of?
Physical presence has its, has its own significance, but if your interest is receiving grace, wherever you are, it's possible. So this time, largely, this Mahashivratri will be largely online. That means you don't have to take the trouble of traveling. We will come to you in so many different ways and please be available. We are, giving out a certain instrument of grace. This is a certain consecrated Rudraksh bead. The legend says Rudraksh is actually the tears of Shiva. So Shiva sat in a meditative state for a very long time. Everybody thought he is dead because he was completely unmoving. It looks like there was no breath, there was no nothing. But off and on, tears of ecstasy dribbled out of his eyes. That was the only sign of life that he showed, that there was an ecstasy that he could not control, which made him absolutely still At the same time, once in a way, tears of ecstasy dribbled down. These teardrops fell on the planet or on the ground or in the earth and became Rudraks. That is what Rudra's Aksha means. These are Shiva's teardrops. There are many aspects to this. One thing is it has a unique reverberation. Another thing is it'll be consecrated here, so it'll become an instrument of grace. But it is also symbolism. The idea of wearing Rudraks, the ascetics always wore Rudraks because of all the creatures on this planet, from the virus to the bacteria, all the microbes, the worms, insects, plants, trees, birds, animals, none of them can consciously decide whether to reproduce or not. It just happens. If the seed falls out, another sapling rises, that becomes another tree. So, nobody can decide whether to reproduce or not. The only creature who has this power is to hold back the seed and not reproduce, but consciously, is the human being. I'm saying it is possible. Whether all human beings are capable or not is another matter, because the evolutionary process is a slow process, you know. It's not like on one day, tuck, it's done. It's happening still for some. So Rudraksh bead is symbol of that. The Shiva or the Adi Yogi is represented by this in many ways because this is a symbol of conscious choice, that you decide. The base processes of life, of eating, reproductive nature, sleeping, all these things you decide. Because once you take these things in your hands, your freedom of life is complete. If food, drink, excretion, reproduction and sleep, if these five things come into your hands, conscious hands, it's done, life, everything is free. So, Rudraksh bead represents that dimension, that you have chosen to become a conscious human being. It has its health and other benefits, that's a different matter. But one simple thing that you're telling yourself and everybody is, when I wear Rudraksh, I am a conscious being. I've decided. What is a compulsive activity for every other creature on this planet? For me, it is a conscious process. So, a Rudraksh bead which is consecrated in a certain way, which is… will be on Adi Yogi for some time. Probably we will be giving out a few million Rudraksh, free of cost. It's going to cost us a lot in this, particularly in this, with 2020 behind us, that the foundation is sitting here without any revenue. But we are committed to doing this, or we will make it like pay as you can. People can pay if they wish to pay, otherwise they can take it. Because we do not want to make spiritual aspects related to money. Money is for services, to build the buildings, to provide you lighting, to provide you sound, to provide you all this, money is needed. Spiritual process, they're not paying me anything, do you know this? It's okay because I decided not to make profit in my life. I have a tango going, not a transaction. I have a tango both with Adi Yogi and you, so no transaction. All right? For the spiritual element, there is no transaction. So, this Rudraksh will be coming with a few other things and these millions of Rudraksh will be mailed, so there is a cost to that. So when you get the Rudraksh, pay as you can, okay? You can pay for yourself, or if you want another 100 people to have these Rudraksh, you can pay for them. So this will be available, please make use of this Rudraksh, this will be a powerful instrument in your life to be accessible to grace of Adi Yogi. So this is an opportunity, this Mahashivratri, for you to soak in the tears of Shiva, tears of ecstasy, not of misery. I think that you need that from now on in your life, if at all if tears come, they must be tears of love or joy or blissfulness or ecstasy. Tears of anger, tears of frustration, tears of fear, tears of misery, you must ban them. Huh? Hello? No tears of misery, no tears of frustration, no tears of anger, no tears of other kinds of, unpleasant things. Only tears of joy, love and ecstasy. Huh? The last quarter of the night. The pineal gland is at the highest level of secretion. That means you can stabilize. Substantial research into this. So that is labeled as Brahma Muhurtam or the time of the Creator. You can make yourself the way you want yourself to be. Within the human system, because of the nature of planet's relationship with the sun and the moon, certain things are happening in the human system. What is considered as the last quarter of the night? We consider from sunset to sunrise as the night. The last quarter of the night, at that time there are physiological changes happening in the system. They've even found the waste material in your body, like your urine, for example, at that time has qualities which it doesn't have at any time of the day. There's substantial research into this these days. So the entire body is in a certain conducive atmosphere. There is a natural production of what is called as melatonin, which is a secretion of the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is at the highest level of secretion in the last quarter of the night. So we want to make use of this. So anywhere between 3:30 to 6 or 5:30 or whatever the time the sunrise happens is considered Brahma Muhurtam because your pineal gland is at its highest level of secretion. That means you can stabilize. In modern medicine, it is seen as a mood stabilizer. Well, I've been talking about bringing yourself to ease. Bringing yourself to ease means that you are not a fluctuation, you are at ease. This is naturally happening at a certain time. At that time, people want to sit up and do their spiritual processes so that they get the best benefit. So that is labeled as Brahma Muhurtam or the time of the Creator. Or you can look at it this way, it is a time when you can create yourself, you can make yourself the way you want yourself to be. So you become the Brahman in the morning so that you will make yourself the way you want yourself to be.
Once the system gets regularized, you will see diabetes should go. Within 6 weeks, we will see your diabetes is gone.
The important thing is there is a general destabilization of the body.
We just taught them some simple processes to stabilize their energy system and their body.
It's a very slow-release cereal, that is, there will be no sugar spikes. I know today one of the largest pandemic on the planet is diabetes. Well, today people are just checking the sugar, either in their blood or urine, and arriving at a certain conclusion. Sugar being there related to a particular organ like pancreas, either it's dysfunctional or not functioning properly, but that's not how we see it in yoga.
In the yogic system, we say, if your Vyana Prana doesn't function well, one manifestation is diabetes. Essentially, it's destabilization of the body. You are looking at only the sugar may be high, but that's not the thing.
The important thing is there is a general destabilization of the body. If you do not have any other sadhana, the simple way is to keep in touch with the earth or the soil. The richness of the soil and the richness of the body are related. And if you connect with the soil, maybe if you don't do agriculture, maybe do little gardening at least, bare feet and bare hands. If that is also not possible, you're living in a nest. So if that is so, at least get yourself a mud bath. Get some soil and smear it across your body, wait for it to dry up, 30-40 minutes, and wash it off. At least once in a few months, maybe. So at least a simple thing like walking in your garden without your footwear could stabilize your vyana to a reasonable extent.
There are kriyas to stabilize the system in such a way that naturally it'll impact the sugar levels later. We have hundreds of people who have completely walked out of their diabetes with us. For most of them, we didn't treat the diabetes at all. We just taught them some simple processes to stabilize their energy system and their body, out of which they have come out of their diabetic condition. The Shambhavi Mahamudra is also capable of doing that. Once the system gets regularized, you will see diabetes should go. But if you want a quicker, more effective way of getting out of it, if you spend 6 weeks with us, most probably 70% of the time, within 6 weeks we will see your diabetes is gone. There are some people who are hardcore sweet. They may take a little longer time, but at least 70% of the people will be out of it within 6 to 8 weeks of time.
If you have diabetes, we have powerful systems in Siddha, we can do that. But Siddha is little bitter. If your diabetes is not so bothering you, you will not take such bitter medicine, then we will choose Ayurveda, Siddha Vaidya, to some extent Ayurveda and proper diet and exercise, one can easily reverse this process. And it takes time to cook, it cooks a little more than the rice, but it does a lot more. It's a very slow-release cereal, that is, there'll be no sugar spikes because of you eating a millet. It releases its glucose part of it very, very slowly. So particularly those who suffer from diabetes or whose life is threatened by diabetes, ragi and other millets also does a fantastic job.
We appreciate your presence and active participation. Let's continue this journey together, exploring new horizons and sharing our light with the world.